Hey everybody, welcome back or welcome. Today I want to talk to you about the Great Reset and the people I've deemed the poster children of capitalism. And am I talking about Bill Gates' kids? No. But let's talk about this Great Reset. We have a problem, Houston. And as usual, there's more than one way to address it. Now, if you've heard about the Great Reset, good for you. That means you're not just watching legacy media all day. But the World Economic Forum is presenting a top-down management of you by someone else who will be responsible for you because, let's face it, they're smarter than you. And I won't go too deep into what the solutions are. Actually, I won't go into them at all. But just to let you know that this Great Reset isn't some top-down some tin hat conspiracy. This is off their website. And please go to their website so you can be informed. 2020, ignorance is an option. You scared yet? Call up bodies, people digging in trash. This is horrible. Okay, I'm gonna end it on the Black Lives Matter thing, but it's a really short video, and at the end it asks you to, help them out, subscribe or something, join the movement, type of thing. Now they're basically presenting problems and they're presenting solutions. I'm not going to deny the problems. I mean, we do have problems out there. It's the way we address the problems, because as a great man once said, there are no solutions, only alternatives, right? So I myself, and I believe if you've come to this channel more than once, you're probably in favor of more of a bottom up solution where you manage yourself, knowing that you have a responsibility to obtain the knowledge and skills necessary to take care of yourself, right? Now, the World Economic Forum wants to provide solutions to this problem in a similar fashion as those who have been trying to solve social, political, and economic problems in Detroit, or let's say Baltimore. What about Watts, Compton, Chicago? And here's an example. I want to show you, pictures are worth 1,000 words. I just want to show you the ultimate effect of top-down management solutions that typically come from the left. Let me share my screen again. Boom. If you watch some of my old videos, you'll recognize this. And it's capitalism made Detroit. It did. Socialist, Marxist policies, these top-down solutions, they destroyed it. I prefer to stay in my brick house. Now, if there's some extra, some threat to my ability to live on planet Earth, like temperatures rising or, I can't breathe the air, there has to be a bottom-up solution to these problems, because the top-down solution to these problems will put you in the house that's bombed out and depleted, as I like to say. I got that from Chappelle. But here's your choices, right? So I will continue on here. So I believe we can address these problems using the bottom-up capitalistic approach, and we have history on our side. History tells us we can do it. And I'll use the poster children of capitalism as an example. Now, before I introduce these people, you know who they are. You just haven't, you probably never connected them with capitalism. You always, like myself previously, connected them with racism. And I'm not talking about the Klan, right? I'm talking about America's newly emancipated slaves. What we're taught in school is all they did was run from white people who was trying to kill them, right? But they actually achieved some great things that every American can be proud of. I don't care if you're black, white, a Native American, new immigrant, old immigrant, LGBTQ, whoever you are. These people accomplished some great things with the values and beliefs of capitalism and free markets. One of which was they were half of that population within a generation became literate. Something that's never been done before. And in fact, Romania, I believe, is in one of Dr. Soul's books. Romania didn't become literate. Half the population didn't become literate until like the middle of the 20th century, and India didn't do it until the end of the 20th century. And these guys did it within half of that population did it within a single generation. That's amazing. And it wasn't socialism, right? So what happened was capitalists from the North came down to the South to not only teach the newly emancipated the ways of capitalism and free markets, because they were under a system in the South that was basically socialism with a whip. Slavery has been deemed, slavery was deemed socialism without the whip by a pro-slavery advocate by the name of George Fitzhugh. Go look this guy up. So not only did the Northerners come down and teach the newly emancipated how to operate in a free market, they also taught the poor whites how to operate in the free market. And this is during Reconstruction. You can find all this out, and I still can't get this right, in that book, Reconstruction, America's Unfinished Revolution, 1863 to 1877. Great book, highly recommended. Mr. Eric Forner is the author. Now, let me give you some more anecdotal evidence of how a bottom-up approach can work. So you got some rich capitalists by the name of Carnegie Mellon and Rockefeller, just to name two, and some broke capitalists like myself who helped Booker T. Washington establish and run Tuskegee University. When I say broke capitalists, I mean the newly emancipated who went out and sold chicken dinners and gave pennies to Booker T. Washington to help him establish Tuskegee University, right? Now, what this did, Tuskegee started pumping out world-class tradesmen, and they started helping develop the South. And this created a culture that fostered excellence in trades. And it created a whole bunch of world-class carpenters, right? Now, the cost of living in the South was considerably lower than the cost of living in the North. And what did some free market capitalists figure out? Well, hey, us Northern capitalists, we can go down to the South, hire these Black carpenters whose skills are on par, if not better, than the more expensive white carpenters in the North, and we can underbid and get more jobs. And so that's what they did. This presented a problem to some people. The Black carpenters in the South was like, hey, we getting paid. But the Northern white carpenters was like, hey, they taking my money. And so they looked for a solution. Now, they could have let the free market work, or they can look for a top-down solution. And what did they do? You all know what they did. They went for a top-down solution in the form of the Davis-Bacon Act. Davis-Bacon Act. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the federal minimum wage. And so basically the effect of that top-down solution was what they hoped to accomplish was, if you got to pay somebody at least $1, like if it's a federal minimum, they're hoping that prejudice would win the day and say, well, if I got to pay, a carpenter $1, I'm white, he white, I'm gonna pay the white guy. So in the short run, blacks got screwed, got hosed. In the short run, whites, they saw a direct benefit. Hey, taking the competition out. But in the long run, we all got hosed. Because if you were to let capitalism do its thing, if you let the free market play out, what would happen? Well, you heard the saying, sorry, not enough coffee or too much coffee. Necessity is the mother of invention. So what would have happened? Well, the white carpenters would have been like, hey man, we got to figure out a way to compete with these brothers in the South, right? They would have came up with some new efficient form, more cost-effective form of carpentry, which would start to dig into the profits of using the blacks in the South, which the blacks in the South would say, wait a minute, we losing our, advantage here. What are they doing? And so they would eventually start copying the innovations that the other people came up with. And we all would have benefited from that. But no. Yeah. Just like in that video where you got Black Lives Matter chanting on the World Economic Forum, they're using the same thing. Let's throw racism out there, social injustice out there. And while they're doing that, behind the scenes, they're issuing in top-down management, socialist ideas and policies that have destroyed not only the black community, like the family, but the actual community itself, brick and mortar. I mean, Detroit is bombed out and depleted compared to what it used to be when it was ran by people who have more of a focus on capitalism, individual liberties, individual responsibilities. That's where it's at. So with that said, I think I've made my point. And just to let you know, I really hope you guys go out there and look up the Great Reset and just keep what I said in mind. The Great Reset isn't new. It's just new to the news cycle, if it's even on the news cycle. I was alerted to the Great Reset after buying this book here. This Time magazine little thing at the grocery store back, I think, in 2013, right? So the Great Reset technically is already here. It hasn't been revealed yet, basically. So I encourage you to go find out more about that. If you're looking for something easy to read, something kind of entertaining and may make you think a little bit, I'm going to suggest my own work. I have a award-winning memoir here, Our Two Societies, and it's not about black and white societies. It's basically about how you perceive the world as either an individual or a member of a collective. And I've started a series of books called Ideas and Blood. The first one is called Nyack. I'm working on the second one. And it's basically taking historical fiction and weaving in some of these, these historical jewels that we just aren't privy to. Like, our education system won't present them to us because they think we'll either get offended or it just doesn't go with the narrative that they currently have. So with that said, if you're still here, please like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Definitely leave some comments in the comment section. I try and get to everyone that leaves a comment. And with that said, I'm going to say peace.